And this is Gavel to Gavel, WCBW-TV's complete coverage of the Richmond City Council. Good evening once again. I'm Dick Harmon. Welcome to our second meeting of the month of June. And I guess you can say this is the last meeting of the current fiscal year. However, they are able to carry papers over from one fiscal year to another. At one point, there was always the thing, well, can we do that? Can't we do that? Well, they found out, yes, they can. So things will not come to a screeching halt tonight. The business will go on as usual. What have we got tonight? Well, we've got 23 items on the consent agenda, 2 items for appointments, and we have 5 items on the regular agenda for a total of 30 items. And let's take a look at what we will and won't have by the time we get done this evening. Starting off with the consent agenda, item number 1, ordinance 2012-72. That's a rezoning, trailer drive, etc. That one's going to be continued till our second meeting in July 22nd. Item 2, ordinance 2012-212. This is all-way stop signs, all-way flashing red lights at North Nansemond Street and Kensington Avenue. That one is also being continued until the 22nd of July. Item 3, ordinance 2013-80. Special use at 2501 Monument Avenue. That one's been continued till our next regularly scheduled meeting, which will be on July 8th. Number 4, ordinance 2013-97. This is concerning reports to council on temporary assignments, etc. That's being continued till September 9th. You know, they'll more than likely take off the month of August and come back in September. But that one's continued till our first meeting in September. Now, item 5, ordinance 2013-109. And this is concerning the voluntary retirement incentive program to be effective on July 1st. This is for the purpose of providing for the alternate computation of benefits in connection with and a limited period during which qualified members of the Richmond Retirement System's defined benefit and enhanced defined benefit plans shall be eligible to retire with a one-time incentive payment. That is staying on consent agenda tonight. Item number 6, ordinance 2013-112, and this is special use at 2623 East Broad Street. This one's been continued until July 8th. Item 7, ordinance 2013-113, and this is authorizing accepting funds of $7,800 from the Department of Criminal Justice Services, and this is to provide training to pretrial and probation officers on evidence-based principles designed to reduce recidivism among offenders. That stays on consent agenda. Item 8, ordinance 2013-114. This provides use by Richmond First Tee of city-owned real estate as known as the Elson Redmond Memorial Driving Range at 400 School Street to provide golf, learning facilities, and educational programs for area youth. That stays on consent. Item 9, ordinance 2013-116 accepts $219,639 from the Department of Health, and it appropriates that money. It returns surplus funds to the city's health district. That stays on consent agenda. Item 10, ordinance 2013-117. This extends the hours of enforcement for residential parking permits in the Carver neighborhood. That stays on consent. Item 11, authorizing the CAO to accept $49,484 from the Department of Fire Programs, and that's for the purpose of repair of the burn building used to assist in the training of fire service personnel. That stays on consent. Item 12, ordinance 2013-119. This is establishing a special revenue fund for affordable housing, etc. That one's being continued until September 23rd. Item 13, ordinance 2013-123. That accepts a donation of consulting and information technology services and volunteer labor. The value of this at approximately $400,000. This is going to be donated time from IBM for the purpose of developing strategies to improve delivery of public services and promote economic and neighborhood development. That stays on consent. Item 14, ordinance 2013-126, and this is a cooperative agreement between the VCU and the City of Richmond implementing a pilot program to provide a means for the VCU Police Department to become an operational user of the Department of Police's Division of Emergency Communications, Computer-Aided Dispatch, and Mobile Communication Systems. So this is working together between the City of Richmond Police and VCU Police. That stays on consent. Item 15, Ordinance 2013-127. This establishes a new project in the Economic and Community Development category called Gateway Plaza Public Parking Garage. And it increases estimated revenues from general obligation bonds by borrowing $11.25 million, and the amount appropriated to the Gateway Plaza parking garage for the purpose of constructing approximately 326 public parking spaces and a new office tower to be developed on a site generally bounded by East Cary to the north, South 9th to the east, East Canal to the south, and South 8th to the west. That stays on consent, as does number 16, Ordinance 2013-128, transfers $250,000 from the Department of Economic and Community Development, and this is for the special fund for the purpose of the city's efforts to attract and retain business within the city of Richmond. So does number 17 stay on consent, Ordinance 2013-129. This also transfers $250,000 and to the Department of Economic and Community Development Facade Improvement Fund Special Fund, and this is for the purpose of renovating architecturally important facade located in the Arts and Cultural District. That stays on consent. Item number 18, Ordinance 2013-130, and this accepts $119,535 from the J. Fulmer Bright Foundation. And this is for the purpose of maintaining and improving the city's East End parks, including Chimborazo, Liberty Hill, Great Shiplock, Jefferson, Patrick Henry, and Parker Field Park, and yet to be developed park to be named the historic Fulton Memorial Park. That stays on consent agenda. Item 19, Ordinance 2013-133, and this authorizes CAO to execute an agreement for the purpose of developing and managing a 16-story Class A office building located on a site generally bounded by East Cary Street to the north, South 9th to the east, East Canal to the south, and South 8th to the west. That stays on consent. Item 20, Ordinance 2013-134, Master Development Agreement between the City and Clayco, Inc., doing business in Virginia as Clayco Construction, for the purpose of developing and managing a 16-story Class A office building. That's the same building we were just talking about. Now, item 21, Resolution 2013-R130. This abolishes the Career and Technical Education Commission. Stays on consent. Item 22. This approves the issuance of tax-exempt revenue bonds not to exceed $4 million for the benefit of Veritas Classical Christian School. And item 23. This is a public necessity to initiate an amendment to the zoning ordinance to change the composition of the Urban Design Committee. This one's being continued till July 22nd. Now, we have two appointments tonight. Remember, for appointments, you must be present to be voted on for an appointment. Not for a reappointment, but for an appointment. Item 24 appoints Leighton Powell, a member of the Advisory Board of Recreation and Parks. Item 25 appoints Jonathan Zur, member of the Board of Directors, Capital Area Partnership Uplifting People. Those two items are on the appointments for tonight. Now, we get to the regular agenda. We get 5 items there. Item number 26, Ordinance 2013-115. And this is an agreement between the City of Richmond and the RMA for the purpose of extending until June 30th, 2014, the management agreement for Main Street Station. Item 27, this renounces the right to receive payment on a subordinated debt due to the city of $409,500. This is for the parking facility at 201 East Gray Street. Item 28, Ordinance 2013-121, authorizes expenditure up to $230,000 from the Parking Management Special Fund to the RMA for the purpose of providing funding to satisfy the remaining balance of a bank loan on a lien on the property at 201 East Gray Street. And item 29, public necessity, authorizing the acquisition of the parcel of real property owned by the RMA for the purpose of public parking. That's all that parking lot at 201 East Gray Street. All those stay on the regular agenda. Then item number 30, that's Resolution 2013-R47. That's the The vinyl windows of 2916 Monument Avenue, that is being continued once again, this time until the 8th of July. So what do we look for? Okay, we started out with 24 items on consent agenda. 6 of those items will be continued, so we're down to 18 items on consent. 2 appointments, and both those appointments will stay, and so we'll have 2 items on the appointments. Then regular agenda, we had 5 items. We have 1 continued, and so we're down to 4 items. So we are down now to 24 items from the original 30. And then we will have 8 speakers on the citizens' comment period. Now we also have 3 items under expedited consideration. 1 will improve an amount of $921.40 to pay Rubicon for providing catering services at 6 district meetings. Item number 2 will be approving $1,000 from council district funds for the 3rd district to make a donation to the Richmond Foundation for Send a Kid to Camp. And item 3, approving the issuance by Richmond Redevelopment Housing of its multi-family housing revenue bonds in the amount of up to $26 million for the acquisition, construction, renovation, rehabilitation, and equipping of approximately 197-unit multi-family residential rental housing project to be known as Miller Lofts, located in the city of Richmond. Those are the 3 items that will be on expedited consideration. So what's it look like now? Will we be breaking the record set last meeting when we were here for 57 minutes in session? Probably not. How long we will be here, we won't know until we get started. We'll be doing that in just about 5 minutes from now. I'm Dick Harmon. Stay tuned.
Yes, she said that someone will talk to you about doing something out there for the driveway or something.
I'll put him in somebody else.
I'm Bishop College. You guys see my family too? Yeah, I can go back there. Take me back. Yes, take me back. Yeah, I'll take one. No, she wants to go. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's about 2 minutes after 6 o'clock. I see a majority of council members in their seats. Ask the other council members to come on up to the dais and we'll begin tonight's meeting. Before we do, I want to let anybody here for paper number 6, which is 2012-112, or the Captain Buzzies paper. That paper is being continued tonight, so there won't be an opportunity for public comment, and there will not be a vote by City Council on that. Although I hope to run a tight ship tonight and not have a super long meeting, I didn't want you sitting down here for no reason. So that paper will be continued tonight. All right. And at this point, being 6:03, I'm going to go ahead and call the formal Richmond City Council meeting for June 24th to order. As always, may we please stand, and the Reverend Rosalind Battle of New Life Deliverance Tabernacle will give an invocation, immediately followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Gracious God, you who are so full of grace, wisdom, love, and mercy, we come on behalf of those who are called by your name, on the behalf of this city, of its citizens, and on the behalf of this city's appointed servants. We ask that you would forgive us all for any and everything which we may have done or neglected to do during this day, which may have grieved your heart and held back your hand of abundance and blessing from us. We thank you for your forgiveness, dear Lord, and we ask that you would grant us the will to be rightly guided as we are rightly governed by your Holy Spirit and by this elected governing body. We thank you, dear Lord, for loving us enough to give us another chance to say yes to your perfect will. And we ask, Lord, that as we humble ourselves and pray and seek your face and turn from our wicked ways, that you, dear God, would hear us and heal our land. In the power of your most matchless name, we do pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. The Chamber Emergency Evacuation Plan announcement and the citizen speaker guidelines will now be given by the clerk.
Upon activation of the emergency alarm systems, all persons should immediately exit the building. Please use the exit to the left or right front of the council chamber, east or west stairway outside the rear doors of the chamber. Do not use elevators or escalators. After exiting the building, proceed to the assembly area located in the parking lot bordered by Clay 8th and 9th Streets. Citizens and employees shall assist visually and hearing impaired visitors with exiting the building. Citizen Speakers Guideline. Citizen wishing to speak during public hearing and/or citizen comment period generally have 3 minutes to speak. Persons appearing before council are not allowed to campaign for public office, promote private business venture, use language of a personal nature which insults or demeans any person, includes comments directly at public officials or staff members that are not related to their official duties. Address all or question staff members directly. All questions are to be directed to the President of Council. Failure to adhere to the guidelines may result in the speaker's forfeiting any remaining time and further disciplinary actions as necessary, which could include barring from attendance any future meetings of City Council for a period of 6 months.
Mr. President, for the record, all members of council are in attendance this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. At this point, may I please have you read the appointments and reappointments on tonight's agenda?
Yes, the appointment papers for consideration this evening consist of item number 24, resolution number 2013-R133 to appoint Leighton Powell, and when I call your name, if you would please stand, Leighton Powell, as a member of the Advisory Board of Recreation and Parks, District 2 representative for a term terminating June 10th, 2016, succeeding James A. Johnson. And item number 25, resolution number 2013-R136 to appoint Jonathan C. Zur as a member of the Board of Directors, Capital Area Partnership Uplifting People, Incorporated, for a term terminating June 10th, 2016, succeeding H. Ray Davis.
Thank you very much. Folks, at this point, after the vote is taken, there's a clerk in the back in your right-hand corner who will take you over to the city clerk's office to administer the oath of office. Thank you in advance for your willingness to serve. Are there any of those in the audience tonight who wish to speak in opposition to either of these appointments? Any in favor? Seeing none, bring it back to council for any comment. Very well. Please call the question, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on tonight's appointment papers. Mr. Beliles?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
Those papers have both been adopted.
Thank you, and again, thank you for your willingness to serve. Your escort is waiting for you in the back. At this point, interestingly, we have no awards and presentations tonight, so we will be bypassing that issue and going straight to the agenda review and amendments.
The amendment to the agenda are as follows. Item 1, ordinance number 2012-72 will be amended and continued later on this evening. Item 2, ordinance number 2012-212 will be continued to July 22nd. Item 3, ordinance number 2013-80 will be continued to July 8th. Item 4, ordinance number 2013-97 will be continued to September 9th. Item 6, ordinance number 2013-112 will be continued to July 8th. Item 12, ordinance number 2013-119 will be continued to September 23rd. Item 23, resolution number 2013-R145 will be continued to July 22nd. Items 26, 27, 28, and 29 will be moved to the consent agenda. Item 30, resolution number 2013-R47 will be continued to July 8th. Mr. President, those are all the amendments I have so far.
Thank you. Any additional amendments or changes by council members? Madam Clerk, would you please call for the question?
I need a motion to accept the agenda as read. Mr. Agelasto, will you make that motion, please?
So moved.
Council is voting on Mr. Agelasto's motion to accept the agenda as read. Mr. Blouses?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano? Aye. Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuel?
Aye.
The amended agenda is before you.
Thank you very much. At this point, we usually would go to the regular agenda. However, we just effectively erase the irregular agenda, moving things to the consent. So we will dispense with the regular agenda and move on to any motions to continue or amend.
I have one motion to amend and continue. That is item number 1, ordinance number 2012-72, to conditionally rezone 3320 Rear Trailer Drive, 10502, 10350A, 10502C, 10502B, 10508, 10506, 10502D, 10504A, 10504, 10500, and 10502A, Dorea Drive, from the currently zoning district to the R4C district. The proposed amendment to that paper is as follows. Page 1, line 9, after the deleted text R5, delete the text R4C and insert the text R5C. Page 1, line 18, after the deleted date, February 28th, delete the date December 7th, 2012, and insert the date June 18th, 2013. Page 2, line 2, after the deleted text R5, delete the text R4 and insert the text R5. Page 2, line 3, after the deleted section number 114-410.1, delete the section number 114-408.1 and insert the section number 114-410.1. Page 2, line 4, after the deleted section number 114-410.7, delete the section number 114-408.7 and insert the section number 114-410.7. Page 2, line 18, after the deleted date February 28, delete the date December 7, 2012 and insert the date June 18, 2013. Page 2, line 23, after the inserted Roman numeral 1, insert the text and exclude from the R4 single-family district, residential district, conditional, 2, shall no longer be subject to the provisions of Section 114-408.1 through 114-408.7 of the Code of the City of Richmond, 2004, as amended. Page 2, line 27, after the deleted Roman numeral 4, delete the Roman numeral 2 and insert the Roman numeral 4. After the deleted text R5, delete the text R4 and insert the text R5. Page 2, line 28, after the deleted Roman 5, delete the Roman numeral 3 and insert the Roman numeral 5. Page 3, line 1, after the deleted section number 114-410-1, delete the section number 114-408.1 and insert the section number 114-410.1. After the deleted section number 114-410.7, delete the section number 114-408.7 and insert the section number 114-410.7. Page 3, line 15, after the deleted date March 28th, delete the date May 14th and insert the date June 18th. Page 3, line 16, after the deleted date March 28th, delete the date May 14th and insert the date June 18. I will need a motion to accept the amendments to that paper as read and to continue that paper to Monday, June the 22nd, 2013. Ms. Newbill, will you make that motion?
Madam Clerk, just to be clear, July 22nd?
Yes, Monday, July 22nd.
Thank you.
Ms. Newbill, will you make that motion?
So moved, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on Councilor Newbill's motion to accept the amendments to item number 1, ordinance number 2012-72 as presented and to continue the paper to Monday, July the 22nd. Mr. Beliles?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That amendment has been adopted, and that paper will be before you again on Monday, July 22nd.
Thank you. At this point, we'd like to move on to the citizen comment period. Madam Clerk, if you would please call the first name on the citizen comment period list.
Yes, the first speaker is Melvin Jones.
Mr. Jones. Madam Clerk, as Mr. Jones is coming up, would you mind calling the other names to see if we can get a line to form?
Sure, the next speaker after Mr. Jones would be Donald Hatcher, Cliff Troutman, George Robinson Jr., Patricia McBride, Randolph Bell, Anna Edwards, and Phil Waleto.
If those of you whose names have been called would mind lining up behind Mr. Jones, I would greatly appreciate it. We'll try to do it in the same order that they were read, but give you all a chance to get up here quicker, and thought you might like that. In the meantime,
Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
Good afternoon, City Council. My name is Melvin Jones, and I'm here in spirit and I guess herself with Miss Magdalena Walker. First of all, I want to thank God for the day and give all praise to Elijah Muhammad. I want to thank City Council for passing a paper on putting Maggie Walker's statue at Adams Broad and Brook Road. Back in December the 20th, 2011, I had a meeting with the mayor's office, and we had a discussion about different sites of putting Maggie Walker. I haven't heard anything back from the mayor's office, and I did send a letter to the mayor trying to get a follow-up. You know, the council's office has been real good in helping me. Ms. Davis, we talked about certain spots to put the statue, but the Maggie Walker family actually wanted to put the statue at Adams Broad and Brook Road, which would be a good spot. I've took some pictures lately, and I don't want the city to be held in liability. The bricks and steel is showing, and we getting ready to have First Fridays right there. You don't want anybody to trip over this piece of steel. It's really showing out there. The bricks are thrown everywhere that's around there. The tree branches are coming up out the ground. It's breaking the curves on the street. Somebody has vandalized the one-way sign. It's turned upside down. Here's a picture right here. You know, if somebody have an accident, the city could be liable for that. You know, we need to get people to ride around and take a look at all this property in the city. We doing a lot of work up the street, which is by DMV. You can see them putting sidewalks and everything down. And another thing, I really don't feel safe in my city no more. I don't know what's going on, but we need to take charge or do something because, you know, we getting all this big time stuff coming in the city, and the city look like it's going to hell. I'm going to tell you just like that. And another thing I like for City Council to do before y'all go on vacation, I would like for you to do a proclamation for Maggie Walker's birthday, July the 15th. She would be 149 years old. And I'm trying to talk to GRTC to see if they will stroll it on their bus. So I appreciate it if you could do that.
Please begin to summarize.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. I believe Mr. Donald Hatcher was the next speaker. Mr. Hatcher not in line? I see.
My name is Donald Hatcher, and I'm here to talk about the city of Richmond. I was sitting in my seat laughing. We got some real problems in this city. We got a mayor. When a citizen in this city go to see the mayor play games with him. But I don't expect much more from him, being a jackleg preacher. There's something wrong when a man tells me he's a man of God, and he plays the devil and God at the same time. There's something wrong in this city, that this city keep on going in ways to make one wonder. I done got to be 73 years old. I intend to be a notable person here complaining about what needs to be complained about. Our previous mayor wanted to play with me. I think I'm a man, I walk as a man, I serve this country as a man. You can take that American flag and you can dig a ditch and you can bury it. Because black folks in this country and the American Indian have never been treated right in this country. And when you stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance, it don't mean nothing to me. I served this country, and I'm still running into problems being a black. And when you got a mayor, I've been here 3 times to see the mayor of this city. I don't give him no respect at all. He ain't getting none from me. And y'all, 9 people on this council, ought to have some way of running this city that the mayor needs. I'm one of the leading black folks in making changes in this city. And you got a man tell me he's a preacher. He serves the devil, and I can say it. You ain't got no reason for not meeting with me.
Sir, this is just going to be a warning this time. You are certainly allowed to say anything you want. However, you cannot do personal attacks not affiliated with the person's
But if the personal
office.
attacks are truthful, I come
Still
in
can't
the
do 'em
city
in front of
hall,
this
I have made
office.
appointments 3 times, and he takes me for something to play with. He's a jackleg preacher, and I'll say it for anybody.
That's your second warning, sir.
Huh? Well, let's make it 101. If you got a man sitting in this city that's not going to serve the people of this city and not going to do right like the previous mayor, sit and talk about me like I'm some kind of riffraff. I served this country. I stayed overseas 2.5 years. My life expectancy was 12 days. And I'm still not being treated right in America.
You have 30
You think I don't
seconds.
feel
Please begin to
that
summarize.
feeling of treating people wrong? And you keep doing it in this city. It's a big joke talking about the city council. You got 9 people serve here, and you don't follow no kind of rules. Thank you for your time.
Next speaker.
The next speaker is Cliff Troutman.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Cliff Troutman, 4900 Riverside Drive, and what I have to address is the taxes on real estate for 100% disabled veterans is 0. And earlier last year, I brought this up to Mr. Hester, the city assessor, and we got it right on my particular case, because the taxes on the real estate would be heavy, almost $4,000. And so what I want to address is vehicles. The original bill that went through the House of Delegates and was signed by the governor had to do with real estate taxes. But there is a reduction in automobile taxes by the city of Alexandria, and it sounds like the city of Richmond could do the same thing, because there's about 300 people that might qualify in the city of Richmond, and that is 100% disabled veterans. In the case of Vietnam veterans, 94% of us are dead because of Agent Orange. So I'm over 70 now, so it won't be that much longer before I'm dead. And the tax break on the real estate falls to the spouse as well as the veteran when he's dead. So that's in keeping with the veterans benefits going back to the War for Southern Independence in the 1860s. So anyway, thank you very much. You please put on your agenda to reduce the automobile tax for 100% disabled veterans to 0, like it is with real estate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Troutman. Next speaker, please.
George Robinson, Jr. Can you give him the mic? Give him the microphone.
Good afternoon, City Council. Thank you for allowing me to come here this afternoon and speak on the problems that I see. And I don't know the people of the City Council like I used to. I think Reva Trammers, I think it's the only one that I know from years ago. My name is Bishop George Robinson. I work the streets with a lot of these peoples. And I come on here with my problems with the water bills that your city is sending out to the seniors. I paid my water bill 2 weeks ago, $411.13, and got a bill 2 days later or a week later for another $241 and some change, and a $99 bill. And I don't understand how we getting a bill in advance. Y'all need to check your peoples and find out where our money is going. I want fixed income, and the city's eating up my money with water bills. My home bill, I live on Merrimack Road. My bill out there, my water bill, $400 and some a month, and there's nobody in my house but me and my wife. So I don't understand why we're getting all these high water bills and advanced bills. So I appreciate it much if y'all would handle that for the senior citizen in the city. Amen. I contacted the city some months ago, when we had the hurricane come through and crack the streets up in front of my business on Hall Street. They did nothing about it. They come and investigated Saturday morning, Saturday. They dug the street up where y'all had put asphalt down. You got to come back and dig it up because the pipes is busted under the street, and that's why my bills are high in that area. So we need to look into these things, and I know you can't look up on the asphalt, but if it's been reported to you that there's a problem there, look like somebody ought to look into it and not just spend money and put down asphalt that you got to dig
You
up
have
later.
30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
I appreciate it very much if you would look into my complaint. Thank you very much.
Mr. President,
Ms. Trammell.
Bishop, is that address 914 Jefferson Davis? Is that one of the addresses, 914?
Well, 914 Jefferson Davis Highway is one of my business there. Okay.
Kids.
But 3090 Hall Street is the bill that I just got. And we just had the water turned on that 2 weeks ago and got another bill for $241 and hadn't used the water.
All right, so there's a lady in the back. She's about to wave her hand. That's Leela Jefferson.
I already talked to her.
I was hoping you had. I had asked her to come down and talk to you beforehand so you knew that something was going to happen, regardless of whether or not you spoke, but that they were aware of it even before the meeting began. So I appreciate you taking the time to talk to her. And Ms.
All right.
Jefferson's going to forward that on to the appropriate department.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bishop.
Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Patricia McBride.
No, it's not.
Good evening. I'm Patricia McBride, and this is my granddaughter, Erica Roberts. She's helping me out a little bit this afternoon. I have been a person of the 8th District for 32 years. I had a slip and fall on the 20th, and this is some of the results of it. It's healing. My mouth isn't quite, I can't eat. I can't do nothing with my mouth. I did go to Chippenham to be examined. I don't know the results of it, but I do have some papers from Chippenham. I've been asking them about this problem for at least a couple of years, about the cement keeps rising because the tree is making the cement buckle. And the city told me that they didn't have any money allocated for this problem. So when I fell on the 20th, someone came on the 21st and put some blacktop on my sidewalk and put some dust over top of it so that I wouldn't track it in my house. I don't feel like I live in that kind of neighborhood. You know, not after being there for 30 years. Never tried to move, you know, and I'm not getting any results and I'm not getting anything done. She has pictures of what I looked like that first day. I looked like a monster, you know, and I did go to the council, to the meeting, and I was talked to, you know, and I was told what to do, but it's not my council representative. They're saying they don't have any money, so what am I supposed to do? That's your sidewalk. That's not mine.
Thank you, ma'am. The lady in the back, Leela Jefferson,
Okay.
is with the administration. If you'll provide her with those pictures and any additional information, we can get to work on something for you.
Okay.
Mr. President, she's in my district. Come up here, Patricia. She's in my no, honey, go to the mic. She is in my district. I went over there for the past year and a half. We have turned this in, and nothing's been done. And yes, she did fall coming to the meeting. She did come to the meeting. She showed us her face and all of that. And I believe it was Henry Meese that instructed her to go to Chippenham to be treated. But this is just, I mean, this is unacceptable. And it's not only in the 8th District, it's all over where these trees are buckling up these sidewalks and they are falling. People are falling. I had another one call me this morning that fell in the 8th District. You know, this, and then when the city says we don't have any money, this is something very important. I mean, she's hurt. Others have been hurt over this. We had a lady right across the street from her where she lives, 3410 Frank Road, right across the street. Another lady had to take her wheelchair and ride up and down the street because she couldn't use the sidewalk because it's up in the air. And now when they put that black asphalt, you're up in the air like that. The children are using it like for using it for skateboards and things like that.
It's not even.
It's not even. We got pictures, we have turned it in, and it's like, and it's, they won't take the tree down, East 15th Street, East 16th Street, that's just two more to name.
Well, all we can do tonight, Ms. Trammell, is make a note of it so that we can add more money, because it's our budget, and we're the ones that put the money in the budget for sidewalk repair and street repair. We doubled it from last year. We can work to double it again for next year. But for right now, I want to make sure that you are looked after. Ms. Jefferson is in the back. If you can please provide her with the pictures and the name and address. Ms. Trammell, I'll work with you to find a way to add more money in the budget.
And Mr. President, I've been working with Mr. Marshall, thank God for him, because he's trying to find the money for those areas and on Broad Rock too, because it's just where the trees were planted years and years ago. Now they've gotten so big, they're uprooting the sidewalks. So Mr. Marshall is helping, but it's kind of like, it's just so much. And they don't want to take the trees down. They said the tree's not dead, we can't take the tree down. That's what they told the person on East 16th Street. Can't take the tree down, the tree's not dead. Well, what are we going to do?
Ms. Trammell, that was a city council moratorium on tree removal. That's
Not me, I said take the tree down. Take the tree down before we have more incidents like
If I
this.
hit my head,
I hear you. I'm just saying that as of tonight, all we can do is make sure the
I'll be dead.
administration is
What
aware.
would be the excuse?
And I certainly hope
Y'all
that's
don't
not
want
going to
to
be the
cut the
case, but all we can do tonight is extend our deepest sorrow that you had this injury and try to get these sidewalks fixed for you. Ms. Jefferson's back, and Ms. Trammell, I'll work with you to find a way to get those other 2 sidewalks fixed as well.
There's like 8. I can give you 8.
I'll work with you to get every single one of
Thank you.
them fixed.
I'll call you tonight, Patricia.
Thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
down and letting us
Thank you.
know. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is Randolph Bell.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I'd like to begin by thanking President Samuels on behalf of my fellow residents of Church Hill and on behalf of the other organizations with which we're working in the matter of the baseball stadium for his initiative in putting forward the suggestion that there be a referendum on the subject. We thank you deeply, sir. In 2009, when the subject of a baseball field in Shockoe Bottom arose, the Church Hill Association voted by a large majority to oppose that project. Recently, on the 9th of June, together with economics professor Jonathan White, I published an op-ed in the Times-Dispatch setting forth some of the reasons why, in the views of noted academics and experienced public officials around the country, putting public money in sports stadiums is a questionable decision. We're not here this evening to debate that. I would note that for Church Hill, as well as for many others in this city, the historical significance of the bottom is an urgent matter. More than half of the African Americans in the United States can trace their ancestry to a human being who, against her or his will, was bought and sold in Shockoe Bottom. We could discuss it as African American history or black history. It is American history. Just as the Holocaust was perpetrated upon Jews, but is not a Jewish event, rather a civilizational one, so slavery is not merely or simply an African American event, it's a civilizational event and part of American history. and we reconfigure that history wrongly at our peril. No one has a greater right to decide upon how that territory, the sites of those slave auction houses and jails, burial grounds and churches should be memorialized and displayed than the African American public of Richmond. For that and other reasons, which are as important to the citizens of Churchill as they are to our friends and the defenders for freedom, justice, and equality who are also here this evening and care very much about the issue, the referendum can be a crucial tool. I took the liberty on Friday of transmitting to President Samuels some language for the referendum, which our two organizations recommend. We recommend that language because...
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
Thank you. Because otherwise, there might be means whereby the city administration and private landowners, despite the referendum, could still proceed with the project. Madam Clerk, I will leave copies of that language here if I may. Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Samuels, for your initiative.
Thank you, sir. As the clerk is distributing those, may we please have the next speaker?
Next speaker is Anna Edwards.
Good evening, members of City Council. Good evening, President Samuels. My name is Anna Edwards, and I am chair of the Sacred Ground Historical Reclamation Project of the Defenders for Freedom, Justice, and Equality. I'm host of a weekly radio program, Defenders Live, on Richmond's WRIR, and a resident of the 4th District. The following letter was written by Randall Robinson, who asked me to read it to you this evening. Mr. Robinson is an attorney, a university professor, author, and the founder of the Trans-Africa Forum, an organization that played a leading role in the international campaign to end U.S. support for apartheid in South Africa. His books include the national bestsellers, The Debt, What America Owes to Blacks, The Reckoning, What Blacks Owe to Each Other, Quitting America, Unbroken Agony, Defending the Spirit, as well as the novels The Emancipation of Wakefield Clay and Makeda. He is the creator, co-producer, and host of the public television human rights series World on Trial, and serves as Distinguished Scholar in Residence at the Pennsylvania State University Dickinson School of Law. Honorable members of the Richmond City Council, my name is Randall Robinson. I was born and reared in Richmond. I am the son of Maxie and Doris Robinson and brother of Jewel, Max, and Jean Robinson. And I would like to weigh in on the issue of building a baseball stadium in Richmond's historic Shockoe Bottom. Throughout the history of this country, there has been a concerted effort to distort and bury, sometimes literally, the history of Black America. It has taken extraordinary effort, therefore, for African Americans to keep their identity alive. And we do this by seeking to preserve our religion, cultural traditions, oral histories, grave sites, and other sacred places. There is probably no place in the United States with greater significance to the Black community than the state of Virginia. This is where the first captured Africans were brought. This is where the system of chattel slavery was codified by the Virginia colonial legislature. In the 3 decades before the Civil War, it was from here that some 300 to 350,000 enslaved Africans were sold off to plantations across the South. Of all the places in Virginia, no single parcel of land encompassed more mass suffering than Shockoe Bottom. It was here that tens, perhaps hundreds of thousands of men, women, and children were shuttled through some 40 to 50 auction houses, confined in slave jails and pens.
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
Shipped down the river or forced into overland treks to lives of brutally enforced servitude, bound together in coffles in denial of their basic humanity. To its credit, Richmond has already reclaimed and is in the process of properly memorializing the site of the notorious Lumpkins Jail, Richmond's African burial ground where the great slave rebellion leader Gabriel was executed, and the trail of enslaved Africans. That is progress that can and indeed must be extended to reclaim and memorialize slave trading district as a whole. I would beg the pardon of the council in order to simply finish the letter. No commentary.
You can certainly summarize. Can you summarize with about 1 or 2 sentences?
No. Is there any way possible I can simply finish the letter?
It's the will of the council. Do we have 5 that allow it? I see 1 head nod, 2 head, 3, 4. You got 5.
Thank you very much. properly developed, Shockoe Bottom would attract visitors not only from other parts of Richmond and surrounding counties, as a ballpark would, but from across the nation and indeed around the world. It would become a heritage site, destination, hundreds of thousands, with all of the attendant educational, cultural, and financial benefits for Richmond and the state of Virginia. Human decency requires that you not desecrate this hallowed ground. Instead, I urge that you embrace the ideals to which we must, as citizens of these United States, aspire. I know that for some, the issue before us today may lack a sense of urgency because to them it involves the pain and degradation of the other. It was precisely this denial of conscience, however, that allowed slavery and all its horrifying depravities to plunge their roots so deep over the centuries into the soil of Virginia. Let us not, in 2013, extend and reinforce this wrong. Let us not, as though in mockery, bring sports entertainment on this hallowed ground, for that would indeed be to modern Richmond's eternal shame. I am aware that a small group of developers wishes to build a baseball stadium in Shockoe Bottom. That, however, is not a good enough reason for any of us to ignore the rules of human decency. I urge that you choose today to honor this sacred ground and that the city that Encyclopedia Africana calls, quote, the cradle of a cohesive African-American community. And in doing so, you will be paying homage to and indeed honoring your own humanity. Sincerely, Randall Robinson. Thank you very
Ms.
much.
Edwards. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker, Phil Waleto.
Thank you. Good evening, members of council. My name is Phil Waleto. I'm a resident of the 4th District and the editor of the Virginia Defender newspaper, which was founded in 2005 to amplify the ongoing struggle to reclaim sacred land in downtown Richmond connected with Black history. We're one of the organizations that fought for 10 years to reclaim the Richmond's African burial ground that was for so many years, decades, desecrated by a commercial parking lot. I mention that because we're prepared to spend another 10 years making sure that there's no baseball stadium in Shockoe Bottom, or if one is built, that it will be known internationally as the stadium that racism built. We are aware that at some point a vote will come up before City Council on whether or not to support a stadium in Shockoe Bottom. But we suggest that the choice is not between keeping baseball on the boulevard, where apparently the great majority of fans would like it to stay, or to move it to Shockoe Bottom, which would only please a small number of developers who would see their land value increase. But a choice between desecrating one of the most important historical sites in African American history, or beginning the process to properly memorialize it in the form of, it is being suggested, an outdoor living museum in which people could visit, walk paths, interact with exhibits, attend a information center, a bookstore, meditative parks, some reconstruction of buildings, an educational and reconciliation site such as does not exist anywhere in this country today. A project which, by the way, would draw far more people to Richmond than the best baseball stadium you could put in downtown Richmond, which would draw from the counties at most. Rebuilding, redeveloping Shockoe Bottom as an international heritage destination site would show the world that the former capital of the Confederacy has reconciled with its past, has dealt with it honestly, and is moving forward
You
together.
have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
By now, most of you, all of you, I think, have received more than 300 notices of people who have signed an online petition against the Shockoe Bottom Stadium proposal, along with dozens of emails. There have been several demonstrations downtown. There'll be several more. And as we did during the struggle for the African burial ground, we're capable of making this an issue that is far more controversial than it is today. We ask you to choose
Your time is up.
alternative
Thank
path
you.
and properly reclaim Shockoe Bottom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leatu. Madam Clerk, are there any more speakers?
No, Mr. President, there are no more speakers.
That being the case, may we please move on to the consent agenda?
The consent agenda items for this evening are as follows. Item 5, orders number 2013-109, to amend city code for the purpose of providing for the alternate computation of benefits in connection thereof, a limited period during which qualified members of the Richmond Retirement System deferred benefit and enhanced deferred benefit plans shall be eligible to retire with a one-time incentive payment. Item 7, ordinance number 2013-113, to authorize the CAO to accept $7,800 from the Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services and to appropriate the amount to the Department of Justice Services for the purpose of providing training to pretrial and probation officers on evidence-based principles designed to reduce recidivism among offenders. Item 8, ordinance number 2013-114, to authorize the CAO to execute an operating and maintenance agreement between the city and Richmond First Tee for the use of Elson Redmond Memorial Driving Range to provide golf, learning facilities, and educational program for area youth. Item 9, ordinance number 2013-116, to authorize the CAO to accept $219,639 from the Virginia Department of Health and to appropriate the amount to the city's health district for the purpose of returning surplus FY 2012 funds to the city's health district. Item 10, ordinance number 2013-117, to amend ordinance number 2007-251-209 for the purpose of extending hours for the enforcement of residential permit parking in the Carver neighborhood. Item 11, ordinance number 2013-118, to authorize the CAO to accept $49,484 from the Virginia Department of Fire Program and to appropriate the amount to the Department of Fire and Emergency Services for the purpose of repair to the burned building used to assist in training the fire service personnel. Item 13, ordinance number 2013-123, to authorize the CAO to accept a donation of consulting and information technology services and volunteer labor valued at approximately $400,000 from the International Business Machine Corporation for the purpose of development strategic to improve delivery of public services and to promote economic and neighborhood development. Item 14, ordinance number 2013-126, to authorize the CAO to execute an agreement between the city and the Virginia Commonwealth University for the purpose of implementing a pilot program to provide a means to become an operational use of the computer aid, dispatch, and mobile data communication system. Item 15, ordinance number 2013-127, to amend FY 2013 capital budget by establishing a new project in the Economic and Community Development category called the Gateway Plan, Public Parking Garage Project, by increasing estimated revenue by $11,250,000 for the purpose of constructing approximately 326 public parking spaces in a new office tower to be developed on the site bordered by East Clay Street, South 9th Street, East Canal Street, and South 8th Street. Item 16, ordinance number 2013-128, to amend the ordinances which adopted the FY 2013 General Fund and FY 2013 Special Fund budgets by creating a new special fund called the Economic and Development Opportunity Fund and by transferring and appropriating $250,000 for the purpose of funding the city's effort to attract and retain businesses within the city. Item 17, ordinance number 2013-129, to amend the ordinances which adopted FY 2013 general fund and FY 2013 special fund budgets by creating a new special fund called the Facade Improvement Fund, and by transferring and appropriating the amount for the purpose of renovating important facade located in the Arts and Cultural District to attract businesses and promote tourism. Item 18, ordinance number 2013-130, to amend the FY 2013 special fund budget by creating a new special fund entitled East End Park Improvement, to authorize the CAO to accept $119,535 from the J. Farmer Bright Foundation, to appropriate the increase to the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities for the purpose of maintaining and improving the city's East End parks. Item 19, ordinance number 2013-133, to authorize the CAO to execute an Economic Development Corporation agreement between the city and the Economic Development Authority for the purpose of developing and maintaining a 16-story Class A office building bordered by East Carey Street, South 9th Street, East Canal Street, and South 8th Street. Item 20, ordinance number 2013-134, to authorize the CAO to execute a master development agreement between the city and Clayco, Inc. for the purpose of developing and maintaining the 16-story Class A office building bordered by East Carey Street, South 9th Street, East Canal Street, and South 8th Street. Item 21, resolution number 2013-R130, to abolish the Career and Technical Education Commission and to terminate the terms of the commission members. Item 22, resolution number 2013-R144, to concur with the issuance of tax exemption revenue bond not to exceed $4 million for the benefit of Versitas Classical Christian School. Item 26, ordinance number 2013-115, to authorize the CAO to execute a Seventh Amendment to maintenance agreement between the city and Richmond Metropolitan Authority for the purpose of extending until June 30th, 2014, the maintenance agreement for the Main Street Station. Item 27, ordinance number 2013-120, to renounce the right to receive payment on the subordinated debt due to the city in the amount of $409,500 associated with the park facility construction on 201 East Carey Street, 201 East Gray Street, referred in the contract dated March 1st, 1974 between the city and the Richmond Metropolitan Authority. Item 28, ordinance number 2013-121, to authorize up to $230,000 from the parking management special funds for the purpose of providing funding to the Richmond Metropolitan Authority to satisfy the remaining balance of a bank loan for 201 East Gray Street. Item 29, ordinance number 2013-122, to declare a public necessity for and to authorize the acquisition of 201 East Gray Street for the purpose of a public parking. Mr. President and Council, that concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you very much. Are there those in the audience tonight that wish to speak in opposition to any item on the consent agenda? All right.
On item 27, that amount is not 409 million, it's 409,000.
Thank you. You're absolutely right. On item 27, ordinance 2013-120, to renounce the right to receive payment on subordinated debt due to the city in the amount of $409,500. Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Now, those in opposition to any paper on the consent agenda, please form a line behind Mr. Hatcher. Mr. Hatcher, please begin.
My name is Donald Hatcher, and I'm amused at this paper here that I'm reading, the agenda. It's funny. It's real funny. When we look at the needs in the city of Richmond, and we keep finding money for everybody to do what they want to do private. This city have overlooked black communities in this city for as long as I've been in this city. Let me take you back to when I was a kid in school. We never got new textbooks. We got the textbooks the white kids had used, destroyed, tore pages out and everything else. We would get them. We as blacks in this city have been deprived all our lives. Black folks in this city have been some of the nicest black folks I ever seen in my life. They don't say anything. They go along with everything. White folks are not that kind-hearted. There's some nice white folks. But today when I look around me in the city of Richmond and throughout the United States, I see the evil. We're all Americans. That flag that represents America, I don't stand in appreciation for it no day. Well, what was done to me? I stayed in Europe 2.5 years on the front line, being mistreated by my American white citizens. And they need to be talked about. You can't keep mistreating people and keep finding money to do everything you want to do. I look at this paper, it's funny to me. I ain't gonna live but so long, but I don't live 73 years so far with misdeeds and things being done to black folks in this United States of America. We all citizens. You're bringing in Spanish people now, and you give them, and you say they outnumber blacks in America. We are citizens. We born and raised here. My family been in America before the white man came. You came and killed them, you stole from them, you took what you took, and you're still doing the same thing. Black folks take it. They ought to all get a gun and plenty of ammunition and start this shooting. Death is better than being a slave. And my people, the American Indian, took that power and died rather than be slaves. And I'm a little foolish because I don't mind that either. This foolishness in America, we all got to be Americans or be less. And this country is headed to hell in a handbasket. You got a jackleg preacher for the mayor.
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
Sad. Y'all keep living here. I laugh because life only gonna last so long, and you got a place 2 by 6. You'll fit in it. They gotta break your legs to put you in the casket. Thank you.
Thank you. Please remember you have to identify the paper that you're speaking to.
I'm going to be speaking to a number of papers. It's hard to keep up with them when you bunch a bunch of legislation all together and push it through all at once, but we'll go one at a time, of course. My name's Chris Dorsey. I'm going to speak against a number of papers, and my opposition will always be that the city has no authority to execute their operations. Let's see. I would say the Gateway Plaza issue, that covers a number of things, and that's ordinance number 2013-127. And basically that, along with a number of other things, is a new and ever-expanding scam of this body, and that's to steal more money from people in order for them to park, in their daily lives, when they go to work, when they, go around their houses and so forth. And there are a number of items on this agenda tonight that are nothing but stealing from the taxpayers by way of increasing parking rates and the city grabbing up a bunch of land that it has no authority to, and then making people pay more of their labor to a bunch of crooks who, like yourselves, who just use all this money to trade around construction kickbacks. I see the Economic Development Authority is mentioned a lot in the consent agenda. That is because the Economic Development Authority and the institutions that make up the membership control everything that you do. For example, what controls everything the United States government does is the Federal Reserve Bank, and Greta Harris is on the Economic Development Authority. I had a whole list of people, and when the former council president was sitting in your chair, Charles, when I started reading out the names of the Economic Development Authority and who they work for, my microphone was cut off. So you guys don't take seriously the Constitution. And, we'll move on.
30 seconds. Please begin
Thank you.
to summarize.
I will summarize. There's a lot to cover, but this communication system with the VCU Police Department, I would like to have the city investigate the VCU drone program before, cooperating with something like a vaguely, worded piece of legislation. And, there's a lot more to cover here, but again, this is construction kickbacks, parking scams, and don't believe me.
Please thank you.
Okay, thank you. Don't just believe me. Follow the money. It's right there for everyone to see, the scams that are taking place that y'all are directing. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Silver Persinger. They changed that rule. My name is Silver Persinger. I'm a citizen of Richmond, Virginia. Like Mr. Dorsey, I'm also speaking in opposition to the Gateway Plaza project. This is the proposed 16-story office space, and the primary tenant's going to be McGuire Woods. This is going to be, according to the O&R request that's attached to the ordinance, it says it's supposed to be a office space that includes 9,000 square feet of retail space on the first floor and 506 public-private parking garage valued at $110 million. I'm generally just opposed to public-private partnerships in general. I don't know if it's an ideological or political belief, but the way I view public-private partnerships is it's use of public funds for private profit, basically. And it's funny that the rules for speakers say that you cannot promote a business during your comments, or my comments rather, but we're allowed to pass legislation that's beneficial to McGuire Woods and this Clayco Incorporated from Chicago. You can give them $11.2 million bond issuance to help them build their $110 million building. In exchange, city is getting parking space, but we're also giving them the street, and the O&R also says that in exchange for the street, Clayton Incorporated for cash or in-kind services equal to $1.6 million. I'd be interested to know how much cash the city is receiving from the sale of the street, how much of the in-kind services are rerouting of the sewer and electrical in the area that. But what I majorly object to is it says here, the master development agreement will include a provision that will establish the minimum value of the property at $95 million. The building cost $110 million. Why are we giving them a break on the assessed value of the building? We're going to be losing money as a result of this. We shouldn't be helping build this building to begin with. In the Times-Dispatch article, Mr. Downey says that Richmond's a hotbed for banking.
You have 30 seconds. Please begin to summarize.
Banking and insurance. If it's so hot, why do we have to subsidize these companies to stay here? I don't give a fig about keeping McGuire Woods here. If they want to be in Richmond, the capital of the state, it's a good place to be. But we shouldn't be giving special deals, especially when we're not going to be charging the proper assessment for the building that they're going to be building, and it costs taxpayers money now and down the road to finance this sort of stuff. Just thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Thank you. Are there those tonight that wish to speak in support of any of the papers? All right, see none, oh, I do see one standing up, I see two standing up.
Good evening, Council. My name is Tucker McNeil. I am a member and former chair of the Richmond Business Council, and we'd like to support the Gateway Plaza project. I'd like to read a statement from our entire council. We're part of the Greater Richmond Chamber of Commerce. The Richmond Business Council conducted a parking survey in the fall of 2012 among nearly 200 city business owners, employees, and consumers, and the survey found that availability was the foremost parking issue in our city. The majority of business owners say that their clients rely on public parking to access their business, and that the current parking conditions in the city have negatively impacted their customers' access to their businesses. Parking in the city is a serious issue that does need to be addressed. The Richmond Business Council believes we need more parking by and large, and also understands that the viability of the proposed Gateway Plaza office tower complex between 8th and 9th Streets at East Canal is directly reliant on a planned parking garage. As proposed, the garage will be partially owned by the City of Richmond, and the facility will offer much-needed public parking. Furthermore, the Richmond Business Council supports proactive economic investments in downtown Richmond. The Gateway Plaza project comes with more than $100 million in investments to our city's core. The proposed office tower's primary tenant, McGuire Woods, is also a major employer in the City of Richmond and an established asset here in Richmond, also with global reach. The development of this office tower will ensure the retention of hundreds of jobs here in the city and support the growth of hopefully many more. The Richmond Business Council supports the concept of the Gateway Plaza project as a positive job retention and economic development strategy in downtown Richmond, which will be a benefit to our entire region. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good evening. My name is Arthur Burton, and I am here in support of resolution number 2013 R130, which is the abolition of the Career Technical Education Commission. And I'm here as a member of the commission, or will soon be former commission, saying that we need to abolish it. And I would hope that we would abolish it and we would not resurrect it again. And I'm going to tell you my reasons why I'm saying that. What we identified on the commission is that the number one need is leadership. And I went to the commission understanding that the leadership to create jobs needs to come from the mayor's office. As much as I like all of you, there's not one of you here who has the authority or the ability to create a job in this city if it's not in partnership with the mayor of the city of Richmond. The partnership must include the Chamber of Commerce, it must include the school system, it must include the State Department of Education, and it must include the federal government. The Career Technical Education Commission identified very early emerging and growth industries that included Dominion Power, who came to the table 3 years ago and said, we have 500 linesmen retiring and we need this city to train us new lines people. But there's no one on council level who can make the superintendent of Richmond Public Schools train linesmen. We flew people all over the country to look at technical education centers when all we had to do was go down the street to Henrico, Chesterfield, and Hanover County. I believe in middle school renaissance, but the best example of a middle school renaissance program is in Boston, Massachusetts, and it's done in cooperation with the Private Industry Council. And what they do is give rising 8th graders internships over the summer. Our tradesmen came to the table and said they need soft skill development. See, I think Ray Boone got it right. The Gateway Project is an opportunity for us. It is an opportunity to create jobs. It is an opportunity to create wealth. But it will only be an opportunity if we do these kinds of things.
Please begin to summarize.
And if we do not create the partnerships, if we do not train our young adults and lead in green technologies and the things, paralegal and all the things that building will need, then we can't blame McGuire Woods and Battle. We will have to blame ourselves. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else that wishes to speak in favor?
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mr. President. My name is Junior Burr. I am in support of the Gateway Office Plaza project because it will set a new standard for office buildings in Central Virginia, and it demonstrates a commitment to the city's economic growth and vitality. I'm the president of a locally owned construction company, and I can definitely say that Clayco has started reaching out to the construction companies and suppliers already. They're excited about establishing new relationships and helping companies grow their capacity. They have set a high goal for minority participation, and we are ready for them to get started here in Richmond, Virginia. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. More to comment? Yes.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Timmons, and I'm here in support of the Gateway Plaza because this exciting project will create additional construction jobs. I work for a small construction company. This project will give me a better comfort level of job security in the future. Not only will this create 800 construction jobs, but local jobs will be created by McGuire Woods. Lastly, the city will have a significant increase in tax revenues. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others? Very good. Seeing none, bring the consent agenda back to council for any comment or discussion. Ms. Mosby.
I have a comment in reference to the abolishing of the career technical education. We agreed that it should be abolished. However, I do not agree that we should not resurrect it. And the reason why I do not agree is because I believe in partnerships. I believe that the only way that things are going to work is if we work with the Richmond Public Schools, if we work with the mayor and the administration, and if we work together to make things happen. And I do not believe that we get irritated because something has not worked and we decide to not do anything. I believe that I was put here for 4 years and I have 3.5 left to make some things happen. And so it will resurrect and we will work together, all 8 of us, all 9 of us, to make it happen. The administration will work with me to make it happen, and we'll do whatever it takes to make it happen because we all agree in talking to you that our children are our future. And so we're going to do, Mr. Burton, if you will work with us, I'm open for all suggestions on let's work together to make sure that our children get what we need. We have taken a tour of the Chesterfield Career Technical Education, and we see that there are things that are necessary. But I don't believe in giving up. I believe in fighting until the end. So I would have hoped that you would get on board with me, and let's resurrect some things, and let's make some things better for our young people.
Thank you, Ms. Mosby. Any other comments about anything on the consent agenda? Ms. Graziano.
I'll let Mr. Parra. Go ahead.
Mr. Agelasto.
I'll let the women in the room go first. Thank you.
That's all right. Go ahead, Mr. Agelasto.
All right. Sure. We've got a couple of papers before us that deal with finances and property. And in the end, I think it's important to let the public know kind of where things come and how decisions get made. First, on the parking garages that the city is planning to forgive debt to the RMA and make a cash payment to the RMA, I think it's important to recognize that these operations have not netted the city any revenue. And in fact, the city's been having to pay for the debt service on these buildings for some time. So it's cost the city more than we thought it would originally. And in the end, this is a small payment to take ownership of something that is an asset for us that we could do our own improvements and make more efficient and eventually bring revenue back to the city. So I think that's a very good deal. As for the Gateway Plaza, I think it needs to be recognized that this is being done so that we can bring more assets into the city. When you talk about a $110 million investment that's going to put new real estate taxes into the city coffers, when you talk about job retention and job creation, this is pretty significant for the city. And I think it's important to recognize that we need to support growth in our area, and this is something that as I see the financing mechanism, it's very conservative, where it doesn't put the city at any risk by taking it off balance sheet and having the bonds serviced directly by the revenue. So I support these and the other papers that are on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Agelasto. Ms. Graziano?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to join Mr. Agelasto in support of this project, of the Gateway project. It will keep a major company in the city. It will give us a brand-new office building. And I would just like to reiterate what Mr. Agelasto said, and that is there seems to be a misconception that there's going to be over $11 million of taxpayer dollars going into this project. That is not the case. The case is that there will be $11.2 or $3 million bond put out, but each year the real estate taxes on this building will service that debt, which means that no taxpayer dollars will go into that funding. So I just wanted to make that clear, and I'm going to support all of these papers, and I think Gateway is going to be a great economic development piece for the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments by council members? Seeing none, bring it back to council for a vote. Madam Clerk, would you please call the vote?
Council is voting on the consent agenda item, which consists of item 5, 7 through 11, 13 through 22, 26 through 29. Mr. Blouse?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuel?
Aye.
The consent agenda has been adopted.
Thank you. At this point, may we please move to expedited resolutions?
Yes, we have 3 expedited papers for consideration. First is Resolution Number 2013-R146 to approve an expenditure in the amount of $1,000 from the council district funds to the 3rd District to make a donation to the Richmond Foundation for the Send a Kid to Camp program. I will need a motion for expedited consideration of that paper. Mr. Blouse, will you make that motion?
So moved.
Council is voting on Councilor Bilal's motion for expedited consideration of Resolution Number 2013-R146. Mr. Bilal's?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper is before you.
Very good. Anybody here to speak in opposition or in favor of this paper? Bring it back to council. Call the question, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on Resolution Number 2013-R146. Mr. Blouse? Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper has been adopted.
Very
Next,
good.
we have Resolution Number 2013-R47 to approve the issuance by the Richmond Redevelopment and Housing Authority of its multifamily housing revenue bonds in the amount of up to $26 million for the acquisition, construction, renovation, rehabilitation, and equipment for an approximately 197-unit multifamily residential rental housing project to be known as Miller Lofts, located in the city of Richmond. I will need a motion for expedited consideration of that paper.
Madam Clerk, could we also, in this motion, include a motion to expedite paper, the other paper that's left to expedite?
The other paper, sure. That is Resolution Number 2013-R48 to approve an expenditure in the amount of $921.40 from the council district funds for the 6th District to pay Rubicon Incorporated for providing catering service to 6th District meetings. I will need a motion for expedited consideration of both of those papers. Councilor Trammell, will you make that motion?
So moved, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on Councilor Trammell's motion for expedited consideration of Resolution 2013-R148 and Resolution 2013-R147. Mr. Blouse? Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels.
Aye.
Those papers are before you for consideration.
Thank you. Anyone here today that wishes to speak? And we're going to take these papers one at a time for their actual discussion, just for expediting purposes. Do we combine them? Anyone here to speak to approve the issuance by the Richmond Redevelopment and Housing Authority in favor or opposition?
Mr. President, Madam Vice President, members of council, my name is Richard Gregory. I'm here on behalf of Fountainhead Properties, and I'm just here to answer any questions if you have any about the project.
Thank you very much. Anybody else here to speak in favor or opposition? Okay, bringing it back to council.
No.
Folks, when I say...
Hold on.
Please form a line in the future because we move with some speed here. Mr. Hatcher.
My name is Donald Hatcher. You know, I'm really having the time of my life sitting over here laughing tonight. One of the biggest thieves in Richmond is Richmond Redevelopment and Housing Authority. I just spoke to the fellow and I telling him, I got a house that I bought was built in 1925. Now, why is we in the city of Richmond letting somebody build houses out of concrete and blocks? And every so many years, they knock the house down and build another brand new house for somebody who have nothing. But the person who's working all their lives barely making it living, raising a family and whatnot, live in a house that's so old, we need glue to hold it together. It's really comical that we can keep giving somebody money that don't run anything in the manner of the way it should be ran. All the crime, most of it in Richmond, is in public housing because you put people in these houses that live better than the person that work every day. You give them food stamps, you give them free medical care, you give them everything. It's not fair to the citizen who goes out and work. And I'm really laughing tonight. It's comical to me that I done lived to be 73. I done seen the dirt that I done seen. The mistreatment of black citizens and the Indians in this country still going on. And nobody's talking about doing right. But why are you letting somebody, and you have the authority over, keep building something and knocking it down? That's foolishness to me, and I ain't too smart. I just came out of grade school. Well, thank you for your time.
Next speaker, please.
My name's Chris Dorsey. I'm speaking against just this huge expenditure of money with virtually no explanation in an expedited manner. $26 million to go, just blank check to one of the most corrupt institutions around in one of the most corrupt countries on the planet. And that, of course, is the Richmond Redevelopment Housing Authority, which is nothing but construction kickbacks, under-the-table deals, and siphoning money off using the taxpayer to pay for the lavish lifestyle of people like yourselves and, of course, your string pullers and the Economic Development Authority, the crooks that, own and operate these public tenements. And it's just all a scam on the people. You people don't care anything about the average citizens of Richmond. It's a joke. You care about lining your pocket and doing what you're told for the people who control you. The Economic Development Authority, the Richmond Redevelopment Housing Authority, and the various construction goons and property owners that you lick the boots of. That's enough. We've had enough of this. I don't want to see this, expedited nonsense pushed through without somebody at least saying something. Hey, Parker, why don't you say something? Why doesn't somebody make a question? Have a question. Why don't you say something before you pass this vague $26 million giveaway to crooks? I know the answer.
Thank you, sir. I hope that answer is that we haven't gotten to the point of council asking questions about this paper yet. Anybody else in favor or in opposition to this paper?
are you just handling the $26 million bond paper right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd like to speak in opposition to it as well, and I don't know much about it, admittedly, but I don't like to see a paper for such a large sum, $26 million, bypassing the committee structure, and I doubt the proper due diligence will be given to it here this evening when it's just being introduced tonight for the first time. If I'm wrong, I'd appreciate a correction. Thank you. I'm speaking in opposition to this. I want this paper to follow the regular process for papers and to be assigned to the committee it belongs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Persinger. Bringing it back to council for discussion,
Mr. President.
Vice President Robertson.
Just for clarification in regards to the paper that is before us, this is to, with the consent and approval of the Housing Authorities Board, they serve as the agent that will be leveraging the bonding. There's no liability, obligation, responsibility on behalf of the authority or the city of Richmond as it relates to this paper, and there is no direct payment of any of the $26 million to the Housing Authority, and I just wanted to make sure that that was clear for the public's understanding. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comment? Vice President, Ms. Graziano?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a question for Ms. Robertson. Is this, and this is really, well, I'm not studied up on this, but I was just wondering, is this going to be a mixed-income housing project? Is that what's envisioned?
I'd let the developer address that, if you don't mind.
Yes, please. Mr. Gregory.
Ms. Graziano, this is affordable housing where the income and the rent levels are cannot go above 60% of the average median income. So it equates to about a 25 to 30% reduction in rent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Agelasto.
Thank you. I recognize that the resolution doesn't obligate the city in any way financially on this. I guess the challenge that I have is passing a resolution on something that I have almost no information on except for what's been presented to me and the opportunity to ask questions right now. I'm looking at Google Maps right now, and I see it's a big warehouse space, a block off of Hull Street down in Manchester. So I'm trying to become familiar with it, but it's hard to understand what this resolution, what the purpose of the resolution is, why council would need to do it in the time frame in order to expedite it. If there were more opportunity to understand what this resolution does and why council would need to make an approval in such a fashion.
Thank you, Mr. Agelasto. Is there someone here from the administration that would like to step down and address Mr. Agelasto's question? Mr. Marshall, you'd be the most logical option unless there's someone else coming
Let the
down.
developer know.
Mr. Gregory?
I guess in response to that question, these are tax-exempt bonds exempt from federal income tax. And in order to issue these bonds, and here again, they're issued by the Housing Development Authority just purely as a conduit. The $26 million in debt here will be purchased by Bank of America. So it's essentially a loan being made to the developers, but in order to get the tax-exempt treatment, it has to go through the Housing Development Authority. And there's a federal statute that deals with the process of getting here. So there's already been a public hearing by the Richmond Housing Development Authority. It was approved there. It was approved at 2 other meetings there. And part of the federal law is that it needs to get approval by the local municipality. So in my mind, it's a formality. Again, the city is not obligated in any way on it, nor is the Richmond Housing Development Authority. The issue of getting it here as soon as we can, we went several months ago to the Richmond Housing Development Authority. They've gotten some delays, and Bank of America is waiting to make the loan so we can bring additional housing. Question?
It's a formality, but it has a legal requirement in order to get the tax exempt status that we pass a resolution.
That's correct.
That's correct. Yeah. So it's a legal formality that council has to support a resolution.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Other questions? Seeing none, I will bring...
I do have one more question, if I may. Is this property eligible for tax abatement? And if so, is it the intent of the developer to pursue tax abatement?
Yes, sir. As a historic building, this property is eligible for tax abatement, and we do intend to take advantage of that.
And to what, I mean, just ballpark, what is the investment that you all are seeking to put into the property?
$30 million.
$30 million?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, bring it back to council for continued discussion. And seeing none of that either, I will ask Madam Clerk to please call the vote.
Council is voting on resolution number 2013-R147. Mr. Beliles? Aye. Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Abstain.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper has been adopted.
Thank you. The next expedited paper, we've already voted on the expediting of it.
Yes, for resolution 2013-R148. That paper was before you.
Very good. And just to be clear, does anybody have any comments in opposition or support? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for discussion. Seeing none, please call the vote, Madam Clerk.
Council is voting on resolution number 2013-R148. Mr. Beliles?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
That paper has been adopted.
Thank you. At this point, may we please move on to the minutes from the previous meeting for approval?
Yes, the minutes to be approved are from the informal meeting of Monday, June the 10th, 2013, and the formal meeting of Monday, June the 10th, 2013. Councilmember Mosby, will you make that motion?
So moved.
Council is voting on Councilmember Mosby's motion to approve the minutes as presented. Mr. Beliles?
Aye.
Ms. Graziano?
Aye.
Ms. Mosby?
Aye.
Vice President Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Agelasto?
Aye.
Mr. Hilbert?
Aye.
Ms. Trammell?
Aye.
Ms. Newbill?
Aye.
President Samuels?
Aye.
Those minutes have been adopted.
Thank you very much. We are going now towards the end. Reports and announcements and the introduction of new papers are the only two things left. And at this point in the evening, I would like to begin on the left-hand side of the dais with our first district representative, Mr. Beliles. He has none. Ms. Graziano, she has none.
Happy July 4th.
Happy July 4th, everyone.
How's that?
Thank you, and happy July 4th to you. Ms. Mosby has none.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. The Holland Park community is having a showcase of the community where we will be providing continued tours throughout the neighborhood, showcasing the new Holland Grove development, as well as the single-family condo development that is being done by Southside Community Development Corporation. There will be special workshops on down payment assistance. There will be wonderful opportunities for people to be eligible for down payment assistance for purchase of a new home in the community. There will be tours of the units that are at Holland Grove. We will also have giveaways for kids, for bicycles, for the Cannon Creek Greenway, and lots of other activities that will be going on. That will be on July the 13th. The site of the event will be at the at the school on First Avenue, and it will begin at 10 o'clock and concludes at 1. So I just want to extend an invitation to all of the residents of the city of Richmond that may be interested in some very attractive, affordable rental housing, as well as new single-family housing that is being built in the community, as well as a tour of the recreational parks and facilities and other amenities in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Robertson. Mr. Agelasto.
Thank you. We've got actually a series of announcements. Tomorrow evening, June the 25th, the Woodland Heights Civic Association will be meeting at 7 p.m. at the Woodland Heights Baptist Church at 611 West 31st Street. Again, that's tomorrow night at 7 p.m. They're going to be having a presentation from the Economic and Community Development Office on a proposed development at 24th Street in Perry. 24th Street and Perry Economic Development Project. And there will be staff members from the city talking to residents about this initiative. On Wednesday, June 26th, we'll have a 5th District community meeting at Bird Park Roundhouse. That meeting begins at 6:30. We have Chief Tarasovich coming to discuss policing in our neighborhoods. We also have a presentation from the Department of Public Utilities on the new utility bill and how various fees will appear on your next bill after July the 1st. Lastly, we'll have an update on Richmond Public Schools with Mamie Taylor. As many of our residents know, we're going to be having the rezoning, and we want to make sure that there's a good transition for our students when it comes to be the next school year. So that will be tomorrow night, June 26th, 6:30 p.m. at the Roundhouse. All are welcome. And then on Monday, July the 1st, we have the Hull Street Midlothian Civic Association. That meeting will begin at 7 p.m. at Koinonia Independent Christian Church. The address is 3600 McRand Street. And if you haven't heard, there's going to be a Habitat for Humanity's home built just 2 blocks away on McRand Street, and they're looking for 250 volunteers to help build this house. So I encourage anybody in the neighborhood who's looking to lend a hand to please volunteer with Habitat for Humanities. But again, the meeting will be July the 1st for the Hull Street Midlothian Civic Association at 7 p.m. On Tuesday, July the 2nd, the Uptown Civic Association is meeting 6 p.m. at F.W. Sullivan's. That address is 2401 West Main Street. We'll be talking about issues in the neighborhood of Uptown, some of the issues pertaining to the local nightlife, as well as other initiatives from traffic. Then Wednesday, July the 3rd, and I know a lot of people have already wished people a happy July 4th, but Wednesday, July the 3rd, I know everybody's going to go down to the river to watch the city's fireworks. If you go into the Oregon Hill neighborhood or the Spring Hill neighborhood, which truly do have the best vantage points of the fireworks, I just encourage you to be respectful to the neighborhood, and if you bring in anything, that you take it out with you and not litter the streets of our community. And then on Thursday, July the 4th, again, the fireworks will be in Bird Park at the Carillon. And parking is very restricted when you come into the Carillon neighborhood. So please, please, please look at what the announcements are on street closures, as well as where the city is directing you to park, because you will find a little bit of a log jam coming into the area. But the fireworks at the Carillon are also a wonderful opportunity for people to get out and enjoy. So thank you very much. Those are my announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Agelasto. Mr. Hilbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. During our informal meeting earlier today, Police Chief Ray Tarasovic came and spoke about the latest crime statistics, as well as the perception of crime. And while he did indicate that overall crime is down, he appreciates that in the short run we have had an uptick in violent crime. I did ask him what we could do as citizens to help protect ourselves and help the police, and he had a couple of suggestions, one of which was locking your car and not keeping items in plain view. And I would ask people that if you're careless enough to do that, where would you like the police to be? Out receiving a phone call and trying to respond to your car break-in, or out fighting other crimes? So I'm asking everyone to be responsible, take your items in your home, keep them out of plain view, and to lock your automobile. This is the least that we can do in order to help the police. He also indicated that we should be mindful of our surroundings. When you're walking down the sidewalk, texting and whatnot, you do give the appearance of being someone who is vulnerable. So I would ask people to pay attention to their surroundings, and finally to join a neighborhood watch and to look out for your neighbors. If you do see a problem, please call 911 or the police non-emergency number, which is 646-5100. It is the citizens of Richmond that, working with the police, brought down our crime rate over this past decade. And if we stop doing our part, then we can't expect the police to make up all that we need to be doing to hold up our end of the social contract. So I would ask that everyone follow the advice of the police chief, look out for one another, and make sure that we're doing the best that we can to make sure our city is a safer place.
Thank you, Mr. Hilbert.
And
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump the gun. Please continue.
We did have, or I'm receiving requests now from civic organizations regarding National Night Out. So I would ask that they get that information to us in order for us to support any community events during that event coming up in August, so that we don't have any last-minute requests and aren't able to help in that vein. And it, like my colleague from the 4th District, Ms. Graziano, I do wish everyone a happy 4th of July. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Trammell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a few announcements. I'm going to try not to forget anything. But this past Thursday, June the 20th, at the Satellite, we held our 8th District meeting. The Honorable Derek Jones, our 8th District School Board representative, attended the meeting with us, and he spoke in reference to the closing of some of the schools and also assured the parents there and the children that they're going to go to the new schools. Derek also spoke about the process of hiring a new school superintendent, and he said that we were going to be a part of the process, hold meetings together, and we would not be left out. So I really, really appreciate that. Also, Derek spoke about maybe the children wearing uniforms, and that we would have a say-so with that. It's just an idea that he's passing around to see what the feelings are with the parents and with the children. So I really, really appreciate that. Also, he spoke about Summerhill School, about the closing of Summerhill School. We all know that Derek did not close the schools. He was not on school board then, and he is our school board member now, and we're going to work together. And I just saw this article in the Times-Dispatch that was written by Corey Williams. It says, cities finding new uses for the old school buildings. So this got some great things in it, what we could do for, with our school board, our school buildings that have been closed up. So I can't wait to have a meeting with Derek and show him some of the things in here that they're using their school buildings for that have been closed up. Also, Derek and I are moving our 8th District forward with the citizens of the 8th District. Our Sheriff C.T. Woody, he attended our meeting on Thursday, and he spoke about some of the things that probably a lot of us did not even know that was going on. What he has Father's Day's visit with the family, where the families can come in and visit their fathers on Father's Day, and then on Mother's Day he has where the families can come in and visit their moms. And this is something that I've seen it, and it's just, it'll move you to know that those children are able to come in there and spend some time with their moms, and children can come in and spend some time with their fathers. Also, there's been 300 residents of the city jail that have received their GEDs, and also the sheriff is also planning another back-to-school rally with his staff for the residents of the jail so that their families can have some school supplies when they go back to school. We thank the sheriff for making a difference in the city jail. Thank him very much. Also, we had Yolanda Ramirez She is the branch manager at BB&T Bank on Walmsley Boulevard. She attended our meeting, and she said that BB&T is ready to make loans for people that want to start a new business. She speaks Spanish and in English, and she also gave us her phone number, 233-3982. That's 233-3982. Contact Yolanda at BB&T Bank on Walmsley. She will be there to help you. Also, tomorrow night, that is tomorrow night, June the 25th, we are going to hold a special meeting at Blackwell School, Tuesday, June 25th, 6 p.m., Blackwell Elementary School, 1600 Everett Street. Better Housing Coalition and RRHA are going to have a meeting to talk about our senior, it's a Hope 6 senior rental cottages. And I want to thank Mr. Marshall and his staff and my colleagues who helped get the money for the Hope 6 during the budget time so that we can move the 6th district, the 6th district, well, it is 6th and 8th, so we can move the Hope 6 project forward. And I know Ellen's been helping me with that, and I really appreciate that too. Again, tomorrow night is the meeting at 6 p.m., Tuesday, June 25th, 6 p.m. Everyone in that area is welcome to come to speak. And also, this is just a little picture of the way that it may look. We're going to do some changes, and we want the community to have an input and see how you would like those senior cottages to be, how they should look. If you have any questions, you can contact Lee Alfred at RRHA. His number is 804-780-4314. That's 780-4314, or you can call my home at 233-7382. My home is 233-7382. My personal cell is 240-5050. 240-5050. Also, I want to thank Adrian Goolsby. She is the director of RHA. She gave us, this is the first, we've been waiting, and I appreciate her taking her time to come with us and spend time with us. And she made this, it's a hotline that you can call. You can call 780-4746. That's 780-4746. If you have any questions or you have any concerns about Section 8 housing, vouchers, or people living in Section 8 housing in your neighborhood, if you upset because they haven't cut their grass or there's some other issues, please call that hotline. You don't even have to tell them who you are. All you have to do is just call 780-4746. Also, she gave us another sheet to fill out with your concerns. And the only person who got these sheets is myself. And I'm going to make copies and make sure that she gets them no later than Wednesday. So I appreciate Ms. Goolsby and her staff for coming to the meeting to share a lot of information with us. A lot of citizens want her to come back. They say they definitely want to see her again. Also, Deborah Morton, Deputy Director of Recreation and Parks, she attended our meeting, and I tell you, all the things that she gave us, this is just some of the things. Movies in the parks. It's a booklet right here. If you all want this booklet, you can call, let's see, (646-5733), 646-5733, and Deborah Morton will make sure that you get this booklet. And she's got all kinds of things talking about summer camp programs, sports camp, the Hickory Hill Community Center, we spoke about that. We're going to spend $6,000 inside Hickory Hill Community Center to replace the broken equipment. Some of the seats are ripped and some of the other padding needs to be replaced. Also, we need some more mini blinds in there. We're going to paint one of the rooms to make it brighter and also hang up some mirrors. We don't even have any mirrors in there. So we're going to do that. And let me see. Also, we've been working for years to put $400,000 in the Hickory Hill Community Center on the outside to put trees. And I know people say trees. Yes, we need trees. And we need bleachers, and we need a soccer field, baseball field, it is just going to be so nice. And I thank you, Mr. Marshall, for all of your help and your staff, Larry Miller, Deborah Martin, and so many more, and Mary Phil for helping me since 1996 and even in 1998 when I was on council the first time. If you have any questions, you can call 646-5733 to join the gym. It's only $15 a month to join the gym there. Or you can call 646-1126, 646-1126 to learn more about starts in the parks. Also, David Cooper, Code Enforcement, and Todd Patterson with Code Enforcement, they attended our meeting Thursday night. And I know that a lot of people have been getting letters in reference to the grass not being cut and some of the other issues. But if you would call them and just talk to them at 646-6425, 646-6425. Talk to them. They don't want to take you to court. They want to work with you. And there's agencies here and out there in the district and in the community that we could call and ask them to help you if you need some boards replaced on your house or some paint, because we know this day and time the seniors are really, really struggling. A lot of people are struggling because we've lost our jobs, we don't have the money, but if you just call them, they don't want to take you to court, they want to work with you. So give them a call, and I appreciate their hard work, and I know that I've even been upset with them, but they've listened to me, and I appreciate them working with the citizens in the 8th District. Also, Station 21 attended our 8th District meeting, A-Shift did, and they talked about the free smoke alarms. This right here, it's your free smoke alarm. If you call 646-1526, 646-1526, you can get this smoke alarm. They will come there to your house. They will install it for free. It don't cost nothing. If it needs a battery, they'll put the battery in the smoke alarm for you. Don't cost nothing. So call it, because if we don't take advantage of it, it's going to go away, and then it won't come back. And also, you can go to your nearest fire station. In our 8th District, we have Station 21 and 22. Station 21, their phone number is 646-8069, 646-8069 at Station 21. You can go there, make an appointment with them, and they'll come to your house, your apartment, your business, and they'll check your smoke alarm or put one up. If you call Station 22, which is on Broad Rock, that number is 646-8066, 646-8066. Go to them. They will also, you can make an appointment with them to put up, for them to come and give you a smoke alarm. Okay. Also, Senator Henry Marsh, he attended our meeting. Senator Henry Marsh, he spoke to us about getting out, getting registered to vote. We need to get registered to vote. We need to vote in November. November is a very, very important election coming up, so please, please, register to vote and make sure that you go out and vote. Also, Betsy Carr, she attended our meeting, Delegate Betsy Carr, and she also emphasized how important this election is going to be in November. So please, please get out there and register to vote and make sure that you vote. Lisa Hicks. Lisa Hicks, she attended our meeting, and there were so many children there, and their parents, they really loved what she had to say. She wants to start like Guiding Light involvement and outreach services. She's located at 3084 Hall Street Road. That's right on Hall Street. And if you want to call her at 303-1496, that's 303-1496, she will tell you about some of these great programs that she has. Her father used to attend our meetings. He passed away, and now Lisa comes to our meetings, and she's taken over her father. Is not able to be there. But anyway, we want to thank her for all that she does, and we want her to come back too and share with us more of the programs. This right here, this is very sad. Major Scott Booth attended our meeting Thursday night, and so did Major Odetta Johnson. Major Scott Booth asked us to please, if we know anything about this homicide, if we know anything about this. This is in English, also in Spanish. Please, Milton Jackson was murdered on July the 24th, 2012 at 3110 Jefferson Davis Highway. That's the Family Dollar Store, which is in my district and only a couple blocks from my house. So if anyone has any information, please call. You can call Detective James Baines, his number is 646-3617. That's 646-3617. If you have any information that can help solve this crime or any other crime, please give the Detective James Baines a call. And also, if you don't want to talk to him, you can call the Richmond Police Tip Hotline. That number is 514-8477, 514-8477. We need to solve this and all the other cases out there, please. And I want to thank the detective for going door to door, not only in my neighborhood, but all over, passing out flyers, these flyers right here, and asking people to please contact him with any information that you have. And I want to thank Ron Hurst and Steve Taylor for attending our 8th district meeting. And if he's our policy analyst here, and if they have any questions, always, if y'all have any questions about the budget or whatever, there they are. Go over there and talk to them. With their children yell, put it on a sheet. We have sheets that they have to fill out. So we're thankful that our children can yell, put it on the sheets. Also, I want to thank our staff, Deborah Handy and Steve Skinner and Henry Mees, for helping to put our packages together. We usually do 150-some packages, and last Thursday we didn't have any. There was not any left. Because the people take the packages and they read the information. All the stuff that I just read you, that's what's in our packages. Also, if you need some help from the Daily Planet, if you need help from Daily Planet, if you have dental problems or some mental health issues that you need your medicine or you need to talk to someone about that, if you would call the Daily Planet at 783-0678, 783-0678, they will help you. So please give them a call. Also, I want to thank all the citizens and the children and Mr. and Ms. Lee who allow us to have our meetings at the satellite. I want to thank all of them and thank the 18 volunteers to help with our meetings too when we have them. And I want to thank Channel 6 for showing up the other night too. We had our public safety meeting on June the 17th, Monday, June the 17th. I want to thank my colleagues, my Vice Chair, Cynthia Newbell, who always forget to say thank you, and my colleagues that attended, and also Lou Ali and Jean that attended. Thank you all, and Luke, who's with the City Attorney's Office, who's there to answer these hard questions that we ask him. We spoke about the cameras in the City of Richmond. Cameras. I want to thank Odetta Johnson, Major Odetta Johnson, who gave us a lot of great information on cameras. And we found out that cameras do help. They do help to solve crime, people that are illegally dumping, people that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. The cameras are up to, it's another tool for the police department, and it's also another tool for the citizens to feel safe in our city. And also I want to thank Jeremy Neerman, environmental officer, who works very closely with the city attorney's office, Luke, and they've been to court several times, and they've been able to have the people prosecuted for illegal dumping, prostitution, graffiti, and other things. Also, if you would call this number and talk to Officer Wayne Graves at 646-4069, that's 646-4069, or either Sergeant Carl Adams, they will come to your business and they will check out your business and tell you where you need the cameras, your cameras that you have to buy. So if you want to put up cameras for security and all that, please give them a call. And also, I know I've given a lot of information tonight, and again, if you need some of these numbers, again, call my home at 233-7382. That's 233-7382, or my personal cell, 240-5050. I know it stays full, but if you call it, it gives you my home number, and I will give you some more of these numbers. Again, thank you all, and do not forget about this, your free smoke alarm. And again, I want to thank my colleagues, and I want to thank the staff, and Lou Ali and Jean, all your staff on the second floor, and Mr. Marshall's office, all your staff for helping me, not only during the budget process, but so many other times. And I want to say that I want to thank Tanya Parker and Wanda and Mr. Marshall, for taking the calls from my people in my district. And I know sometimes they call there and they're very, very upset, but your staff has been very, very grateful and helpful in helping them. So I just want to say thank you all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Trammell. Just for council's records, I have waived the rules of council for Ms. Trammell's comments to exceed the permitted time limit. Dr. Newbill, how can I help you?
Just a couple of items, Mr. President. I would like to announce the next Governmental Operations Committee meeting will be this Thursday, June 27th at 5 p.m. here in City Hall, second floor, large conference room. And secondly, I'd like to wish all Richmonders a festive, fun, and safe 4th of July holiday celebration next week. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Newbill. Yeah, I've already asked you, Vice President Robertson, then I'll work mine quickly. There is going to be, starting today through next Sunday, filming in the Rosedale neighborhood on the National Geographic Channel's production of the TV movie Killing Kennedy, which will apparently be aired in November. Due to the upcoming holiday, the Scott's Addition Business Association meeting is going to be rescheduled to July 10th. It's usually scheduled for the first Wednesday, but July 10th at 8:30, 1300 McTavish Avenue. As you all may know, the Redskins facility is underway. The training facility will have a grand opening on July 8th. During this meeting, the mayor's administration put out a press release showing where anticipated parking spaces and the costs associated with them will be for those 3 weeks. The Fan District Association is going to be meeting on Monday, July 1st at 208 North Strawberry Street. And interestingly, on the agenda for that will be the Bicycle Boulevard proposal, which runs down Floyd Avenue. That's going to run, if it goes into effect, through the 1st, 2nd, and 5th districts. So that should be an interesting one to hear both the administration's recommendations as well as comments from the Fan District Association's membership. The city needs members for their boards and commissions. If you're interested in serving on a board or commission, please reach out through richmondgov.com, or you can reach me at charles.samuels@richmondgov.com, and we'll talk about potential options. Lastly, in a few minutes, there's going to be introduction of papers. 2 of those papers are going to be dealing with a referendum that I've asked for council to consider for this November's ballot. Been a lot of confusion of it. I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time right now, but I wanted to let you all know that originally I had hoped that we could make this a regional ballot initiative and not just a city ballot initiative. And that I also wanted to ask questions regarding how would you like it funded and a list of options about potential sites. Unfortunately, state law does not provide an opportunity for me through the state law and charter to ask the funding question at this point. And obviously, as a City of Richmond elected official, I have no sway over the counties, although they would be held to the same standards in state law as far as asking the questions about the funding. What it does do, though, is provide an opportunity for real citizen input and dialogue throughout the region about the stadium question, and I hope folks will send me comments not only about where they want baseball, but if they would also please be so kind and write in if you have any comments about having the referendum or not. Lastly, Ms. Trammell wants to say something about guns.
No, Mr. President, I want you to say when you talk about July the 4th, say that it is illegal to shoot.
Yes, much like New Year's Eve, please don't discharge your weapon straight up in the air. Mr. Hilbert said it best when we discussed that ordinance, what goes up must surely come down. You can defy the laws of the city of Richmond, but we cannot defy the laws of physics. You will potentially hurt somebody. Please don't hurt your neighbors. And then lastly, on July 8th, the informal meeting for council members and for the public will start at 4:30 instead of 3 p.m. Having said all of that, Madam Clerk, would you please read into the record the new legislation?
Yes, sir. Ordinance number 2013-136, to authorize the special use of the property known as 2007 Brook Road for the purpose of constructing a multi-family residential building containing up to 103 dwelling units, student housing units, and site amenities. Planning Commission, July 15, 1:30 p.m. Council public hearing, July 22nd. Ordinance number 2013-137, to authorize the conditional use of the property known as 180 Belt Boulevard for the purpose of permitting a social service delivery of reuse on a 20-bed shelter. Planning Commission, July 15, 1:30 p.m. Council public hearing, July 22nd. Ordinance 2013-138, to authorize the CAO to accept funds in the amount of $137,882 from the United Way of Greater Richmond and Petersburg, and to appropriate the increase to the fiscal year 13-14 special fund budget by increasing estimated revenues and the amount appropriated to the Department of Social Services by $137,882 for the purpose of funding the Maternal Infant Early Childhood Home Visiting Grant Program. Education and Human Services, July 17, 5 p.m. Council public hearing, July 22nd. Ordinance number 2013-139. To repeal City Code Sections 106-814, 106-816, 106-817, and to amend City Code Sections 106-1, 106-2, 106-71, 106-75, 106-76, 106-79, 106-84, 106-86, 106-93, 106-805, and 106-809 for the purposes of 1, providing for the consolidation of stormwater utility bills with monthly utility bills, 2, providing for the issuance of quarterly stormwater utility bills to certain property owners, 3, making unlawful certain acts affecting stormwater management, and 4, clarifying certain definitions and stormwater utility requirements. Finance and Economic Development, July 18 at 3 p.m. Council public hearing, July 22nd. Ordinance number 2013-140, to amend the fiscal year 12-13 general fund budget by reappropriating $4,400,000 from the fiscal year 10-11 general fund budget fund balance access to the Department of Information Technology in the amount of $1,600,000 for enterprise resource planning to provide for rapids expenses. The Department of Police in the amount of $1,800,000 for personnel costs related to vacations, resignations, retirements, and terminations, and for the Division of Emergency Communications to provide for the purchase of a hardware and software upgrade of the city's E911 telephone system and the purchase of protocol dispatch software for the city's E911 call center. The Department of Public Works in the amount of $500,000 for costs related to leaf pickup and vegetation control, and the Sheriff of the City of Richmond in the amount of $500,000 for the cost of inmate medical services. Organizational Development, July 1, 5 p.m. Council public hearing, July 8. Ordinance 2013-141, to amend and reordain City Code Section 110-136 concerning bus fares for the purpose of increasing the care service fare and providing that care paratransit service will only be provided to the extent required by the Americans with Disabilities Act. Organizational Development, July 1, 5 p.m. Council public hearing, July 8. Ordinance 2013-142, to amend and reordain City Code Section 110-136 concerning bus fares for the purpose of increasing the care service fare and providing that care paratransit service not required by the Americans with Disability Acts will be provided only from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and that such service shall not be provided on Saturday, Sunday, or holidays observed by the Greater Richmond Transit Company. Organizational Development, July 1, 5 p.m. Council public hearing, July 8. Ordinance 2013-143, to prohibit the use of city-owned or city-acquired real estate not located within the area of the city bounded by Interstate 64-95 to the north, Hermitage Road to the east, West Lee Street to the south, and North Boulevard to the west, for a baseball stadium or facilities ancillary to a baseball stadium. Organizational Development, July 1, 5 p.m. Council public hearing, July 8. Resolution 2013-R149, to reappoint Marcellus Plummer as a member of the Richmond Behavioral Health Authority. Council public hearing, July 8. Resolution 2013-R150, to appoint Trip Pollard as a member of the Green City Commission Green Business Job Programs, succeeding Amber K. Foster. Council public hearing, July 8th. Resolution 2013-R151, to appoint Jeffrey W. Sadler as a member of the City Planning Commission, succeeding William N. Hutchins. Council public hearing, July 8th. Resolution 2013-R152, to reappoint Vivian H. Heidemann as a member of the Personnel Board of the City of Richmond. Council public hearing, July 8th. Resolution 2013-R153, to dispense with regular meetings of council during the month of August 2013. Governmental Operations, June 27 at 5 p.m. Council public hearing, July 8th. Resolution 2013 R-154 to appoint Jean V. Capel to the position of City Clerk. Organizational Development, July 1 at 5 p.m. Council public hearing, July the 8th. Resolution 2013 R-155 to declare a public necessity to amend the zoning ordinance and to initiate an amendment to the city's zoning ordinance to make such changes as necessary to rezone real properties located within the Carver community, and to request that the CAO conduct a study of zoning district maps to determine if the zoning classifications are appropriate and consistent with objectives to achieve appropriate land usage, and to ensure that the increasing density of the area is properly managed to improve the quality of life for residents, and whether district maps should be changed in accordance with the recommendations in the document entitled Carver Neighborhood Plan. Land Use, Housing, and Transportation, July 16, 3 p.m. Council public hearing, July 22nd. Resolution 2013 R-156 to express the council's appreciation to the Carver Area Civic Improvement League, the VCU, Department of Urban Studies and Planning, and Storefront for Community Design for their participation in the development of the document entitled Carver Neighborhood Plan, to request that the Planning Commission consider the document as amended when making future amendments to the master plan affecting the area known as the Carver community, and to request that the CAO cause the administration to provide the Planning Commission with information necessary for the Planning Commission to make such a consideration. Land Use, Housing, and Transportation, July 16, 3 p.m. Council public hearing, July 22nd. Resolution 2013 R-157 to order the submission to the qualified voters of the City of Richmond concerning a prohibition on the use of city-owned or city-acquired real estate not located within the area of the city bounded by Interstate 64, 95 to the north, Hermitage Road to the east, West Lee Street to the south, and North Boulevard to the west for a baseball stadium or facilities ancillary to a baseball stadium for an advisory referendum thereon. Organization Development, July 1 at 5 p.m. Council public hearing, July 8th. This concludes all the new legislation.
Thank you. Provided there's no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Well, it wasn't a 57-minute meeting tonight. 2 hours and 10 minutes from the time we got started. Got started at 6:03. Had our all present. Had the appointments, the agenda review, and what we hadn't counted on but happened was all 4 items left on the regular agenda were moved to the consent agenda. At 6:15, we got the citizens' comment period with 8 speakers. Then the consent agenda took about 31 minutes before that was approved unanimously. Then we got to expedited consideration. Now, there were 3 papers, but one took some time and approved the issuance by Richmond Redevelopment Housing of revenue bonds up to $26 million for Miller Lofts. Now, that's approximately 197-unit multifamily residential rental housing project. That was finally after, I guess took about 20 minutes before that was finally approved by an 8-0 and 1 vote, 1 abstention coming from Councilmember Agelasto. Then we got the minutes approved and the council reports, the introduction of papers, and that is adjournment until the 8th of July. So we will see you at that time. Don't forget the 4th of July is coming. Please make it a safe and sane 4th, because we want to see you back here again 2 weeks from tonight. So we'll see you again on July 8th for Gavel to Gavel. I'm Dick Harmon. Good night.